So my name is Asad, and when I was a little kid, I was, to be honest, a little bit self-conscious about my name because it's kind of unusual, or at least it was at the time before the current news climate. I often have to teach people like how to pronounce it if they see it written down, how to spell it. Which, by the way, I spell it with one S. The Syrian dictator spells it with two S's, which is really the worst thing about him. There's a lot of little moments of friction that come with that. But one thing that I realized early on is that I should not introduce myself by saying I'm Asad, because if I don't enunciate clearly, which I often don't, then people think that my name is Masad. So instead I just say Asad, or my name is Asad. It's like little things that you probably don't want to have to think about as a child, because those little bits of friction kind of add up. They make you a little bit self-conscious. So I think my parents kind of noticed that. They wanted to get ahead of it. And so when I was 5 or 6 years old, they got me this book, right? It's called Ashok by Any Other Name, right? You can see on here, there's a sad little Indian boy, and his name is Ashok, and he's sad because he wishes he had an American name. Yeah, I thought this was kind of funny. It's so hyper-specific. His name is almost exactly mine. He looks kind of like a lot like me when I was that age. Honestly, I thought for a while that my parents had just commissioned an artist just for me. It was really thoughtful of them to do that. But to be honest, I'm not sure it was the right choice because, at that age, you're pretty malleable. And I was lucky enough to grow up in an environment with a lot of different kids from a lot of different backgrounds. And if I didn't have this specific book kind of opining on this issue, I might not really have thought about it. It might have just gone away eventually. And honestly, I'm not sure the book handles the topic in the best way, because the structure of it is essentially that Ashok goes to school every day, and he picks a different American name, and he just tries it on for a day to see if it fits him. And what he discovers over time is that American names are garbage. It's basically just like page after page of him going like, Billy? There's 3 Billies in this class already. You get 1 Ashok if you're lucky. And so for the longest time, I didn't really know how to feel about this book. I wasn't sure how I was supposed to feel because, a name doesn't just like fall out of the sky, right? Like my parents gave it to me, right? And so, as a kid, I was like, well, guys, why, instead of giving me like a weird name and then a book to cope about it, why didn't you just give me a normal name, right? And it was especially confusing because I have an older sister named Sabrina. It's like, she did not get a Sabrina by any other name. She was fine. But I will say, to the credit of the book, I never did try to go by any other name. Right? I just stuck with Asad. It just fit. Nothing else really seemed like it quite fit me. Right? And obviously, American names are garbage. And so that's my story. Thank you.